Spring has finally arrived to Denmark. Flowers everywhere. And a lot of wind, of course. Hi there, YouTube. On this beautiful spring day of May the 1st, 2012, there is something I would like to talk about. You know, the reason we celebrate May the 1st here in Denmark is because it's like Labor Day. But actually it's a lot more than just that. It's actually a celebration of the middle class, of the appearance of the middle class. Because you see, all of you out there who are able to watch this, each and every one of you, even the libertarian fucktards, yes, even you, owe your life, your way of life, to red flags, to people 150 years ago who started uprising against the bourgeoisie and the power, the kings and the governments. Because you see, 150 years ago, none of you would have a vote. None of you would have the ability to own a car, an internet, computer, none of that. And not just because of technology that wasn't there, but because 150 years ago, none of you would have been middle class. Most of you, 99.9% of you, would have been nothing more than slave laborers. So each and every one of you out there in YouTube land owe a bundle of gratitude toward people 150 and more years ago that under the red flags of socialism and communism fought for your right to be equals with the powermongers, fought for your rights to be equals with the people in power, the bourgeoisie. They fought for better pay, lesser work hours in the week. And if they hadn't fought, you would not be able to watch this video. It is as fucking simple as that. You owe them gratitude. I don't care if you're a super capitalist that loves that ideology or not. You still should kiss a red flag today in thanks for all the people who suffered and fought so that you could be able to be a capitalist. You see, without that fight, there would be no middle class. Without that fight, there would be no opportunity for you to get an education. Because in the old times, 150 years ago, it was only the wealthy bourgeoisie kids and their superiors who got an education. And not just an education, but got to learn how to read and write. 150 years ago, your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents did not learn to read. They were toiling away in the fields and in the factories of the rich and the powerful. And they were paid shit for doing it. So on this beautiful spring day, where it's so warm, I'm actually only wearing a t-shirt, you owe those people so much. Those people who in the old times called themselves communists and socialists and fought for everybody's right to have a decent pay and to have decent work conditions with decent work hours. But because without that fight, without them fighting for you, for their future, you would not be watching this video. You would be fucked. You would be slaving away in a factory 60 hours a week. You would have no right to strike. You would have no free speech. The only time you would be able to speak freely would be whispering in the taverns while getting yourself pissed out of your fucking skull, because life would be such a fucking drag. In old times, a lot of these men who worked these kind of jobs, 60 hours in a factory, the only fucking pleasure they had was every time it was payday, go out and get pissed. Which led to their wives and children starving, because some of these workers drank up all their money. Here in Denmark, actually, the women of these workers really helped on this epic revolution, because that is what it was. It was an epic revolution. They changed the world into what we have today. The women of the time in Denmark, and probably in most other countries, fought very hard against their men going out and getting plastered every fucking time was payday. Some women allied with each other and stood outside the factories on paydays to grab the money from their men as soon as they walked out the door, so they wouldn't go out and drink the whole fucking thing up. So the creation of the middle class that came out of this struggle is also due to the women, and ended up with liberating the women too, because women started working and women started voting. It is almost 100 years ago that women voted for the first time here in Denmark, because that was in 1915. Before that, women couldn't vote. And back in the 1870s, when the struggles started for real, workers couldn't vote either, because only the bourgeoisie and everybody else above that could vote. The rest were just slaves. And so would you be if it weren't for those darn pinko communists that fought for your right to have a decent life. So all I have to say right now is that each and every one of you out there, you owe the red flags. And so do I. Even though I'm not a socialist, we owe those people. Peace, and don't panic.